Okay, great. Without any delay, let's dive deep into the beautiful islands of Andaman and Nicobar Islands. We're going to start with the interactive map. So this is just to give you an idea of how big are the Andaman Islands. As you can see, there are a group of 572 islands, out of which only 38 are with people stay. Remaining are all uninhabited islands. 86% of these islands are reserve forests. Now, why is this important to know? Because when you are offering this to your customer, you should know Andaman is a destination about nature and forest and blue waters. It is pure nature that you get to experience when you're in Andamans. This is just a fun map to let you know what is really there in Andaman. So as you can see, there's a lot of beautiful underwater life. It's famous for its diving. It's famous for its island hopping. And it is famous for the greenery that you will find in very few places, such as which are there in Andaman and Nicobar. This is just to give you an idea of where is what. So as we'll be speaking, you will see the main areas come up. So Port Blair is the city. That is where the airport is. So everyone has to land into Port Blair. After that, you have Havelock Island, which will appear now. And then you have Neil Island, followed by Baratang, which is connected by road from Port Blair. And then up north, you will find Diglipur, which has just appeared. So these are the most commonly visited places in Andaman Nicobar. Now we will talk about the connectivity. So the ferry basically operates from Port Blair to Havelock, which is the white arrow. Then the connectivity is from Havelock to Neil, which is the red arrow. And then Neil to Port Blair again, which is the purple arrow. So this is the sector that is operated through ferries. Then you have Baratang, which has come in the order here, which is a 3-hour car ride one way from Port Blair. And then you have Diglipur up north, which is a 12-hour car ride one way to reach Diglipur from Port Blair. So as of now, the most often used technique is by road for Baratang and Diglipur and ship for Havelock and Neil. So how does one get to Andaman? Well, I'm sure most of you are already aware that Andaman is now well connected by flights. You have Air India, Indigo, Vistara, SpiceJet, Go Air, all leading airlines which fly into Andaman on a daily basis. It is very well connected from Chennai and Calcutta. You also have connecting flights via Mumbai and Delhi, Hyderabad, and Bangalore. So it is now a very, very well connected city to travel from anywhere in India. You may sometimes be asked by your customer, oh, I want to come to Andaman by ship. Is there a luxury cruise liner? So the answer for this is a big no. As you can see, there is a ferry service which is operated by the Shipping Corporation of India. And these ships are run by the government, which means they are like traveling in a second-class train. And unfortunately, it takes 3 to 4 days from Chennai or Calcutta. Hence, we do not recommend this to any tourist who is visiting Andaman Islands. So let's quickly cover the common places to visit in Andaman. At Port Blair, which I'm sure everyone has heard of, there's Cellular Jail, there's Sound and Light Show, there's Carbon Cove Beach, there's a lot of museums, but these are all small museums where you walk in and walk out. You have Mahatma Gandhi National Park, which comprises of Jolly Boy or Redskin. You have Chirya Tapu, you have Vandoor Beach, you have excursion to North Bay and Ross, and you have an excursion to Baratang Island. These are the common trips that happen from Port Blair. Then you have Havelock Island, which I mentioned in the first slide. Over there, you have Radhanagar Beach, which is also called as beach number 7 and ranked as the best beach in Asia. You have Elephant Beach or Lighthouse. You have Kala Pathar Beach. These are the 3 popular sites to visit when you're in Havelock. At Neil Island, again, it's primarily a 4-beach visit. So you have Bharatpur Beach, you have Lakshmanpur Beach, you have Natural Bridge, and you have Sitapur Beach. At Diglipur, which is up north and connected by road from Port Blair, you have Kalipur Beach, Ross and Smith Island, and Saddle Creek. Let me tell you, Ross and Smith are one of the most beautiful islands that there are in Andaman Nicobar. They are 2 islands joined together by a sandbar, and during high tide, they are 2 separate islands. During low tide, you can actually walk from one island to another. Beautiful sites in Andaman are in Diglipur. So what we have done for you is that in order to, obviously we understand that it's not possible to know everything about the destination. So what we've done is we've made a 3-2-1 itinerary, which we feel will cover 95% of the best places to visit in Andaman. So this is the explanation of the 3-2-1 itinerary. Day one, guest arrives, because we don't know what flight the guest comes by. Generally, they check into the hotel. And at 3 o'clock, we take them for the cellular jail, followed by the light and sound show back at cellular jail. Day two, there are three options that the guest can select from. The first one is a trip to North Bay Ross. The second is a day trip to Baratang. Third option is MG National Park, which comprises Jolly Boy or Redskin. So these are trips that the guest could select on day two. Day three is when we take them to Havelock. Now, some of you may have a question that why can the guest not go on day two? Of course, the guest can go on day two, but I believe always keep the best for the last. So between Port Blair and Havelock, Havelock is the most beautiful island. That is why we have kept it on day three, that the guest visits Havelock. So the guest goes to Havelock. After that, he visits beach number 7. Day 4, he visits Elephant Beach or Lighthouse, which is popular for its water sport activity. Day 5, the customer checks out from Havelock. He takes the ferry, goes to Neil Island, stays there overnight. After which, day 6, he does the 3-beach visit at Neil Island. And then he comes back to Port Blair by the evening ferry. And day 7 is when the guest departs. So we will be talking about this in detail through pictures and through information, so that you will be able to suggest to your customer in detail a 3-2-1 itinerary. So day one, as we said, we pick the guest at the airport, then we take them to the hotel. From there at 3 o'clock, the car will come. It takes them to cellular jail. Our tour manager is waiting at the exit of the gate. He will hand over the entry ticket. The customer walks into cellular jail. This is the first view he gets as soon as he enters cellular jail. On top, as you can see, is a clock tower. This offers beautiful view of Ross Island and North Bay. The customer can take some lot of good photos, after which he visits the Veer Savarkar cell. Now, Veer Savarkar cell is a very famous cell that every Indian visits. He was kept here in solitary confinement for 10 years. यहाँ तक कि उनको ये भी नहीं पता था कि उनके भाई भी सेलुलर जेल में है, और 10 साल के बाद he came to know that his brother was also in the same jail. After they visit the cell, they come out of cellular jail. This is very important to understand, that when you're talking about cellular jail, going to cellular jail is not the same as going for the light and sound show at cellular jail, because there are 2 tickets involved. So the customer has to come out at 5:30, 5:45, the jail will reopen with fresh tickets for the light and sound show. You can see what experience guest gets when he goes for the light and sound show. Once the light and sound show is over, which is a 45-minute show, and there are 3 shows that happen, the customer then exits and then has to walk down to the parking, where our drivers will drop them back to the hotel. This every day, our tour manager will meet the guest both at Port Blair and Havelock to make sure that your customer is well informed and well taken care of. So day 2, as I mentioned, day 2 in Port Blair, the customer has 3 options. So we are going to speak quickly about all 3 options. So the second day, the first option is a visit to North Bay and Ross. So the customer wakes up, he has his breakfast, the car comes at 8:30, we take him to the water sports complex. Please refer to picture number 1. From there, the customer has to take sharing boats. This is very important to understand. These are not private boats, these are sharing boats. Capacity of 10 to 15. You can see this in picture number 2. Then they first go to North Bay. This is a 15-minute speedboat ride. It's a fun ride. Once they reach North Bay is popular for its water sports, so they can do different water sport activities. This is also the view on the 20 rupee note. And once they spend 3 hours over here, so the same boat will then take them from North Bay to Ross Island. And Ross Island was called the capital of the British. It was also called Paris of the East. So what is exciting about Ross Island is, if you like nature, history, and photography, you will absolutely love Ross Island. It is controlled by the Indian Navy. There are all these buildings that were grand 100 years back, but now have been broken down, and only the trees are holding the building together, what you can see in picture number 4. There are a lot of deers, peacocks on the island. There is only one guide available in Ross Island who is called Miss Anuradha, and you cannot pre-book her because she's a senior citizen, and if she is not well, she doesn't go there. So a customer can book her services directly when she goes there. The customer then comes back by 1:30, 2 o'clock back to the water sports complex. And from there, our tour manager is waiting to meet them and drop them back to the hotel. The guest has had a fun-filled day 2 at Andamans. The third option, the second option on day 2 is Baratang. Now, Baratang, as you can see on the map, is connected by road from Port Blair, and it takes roughly 3 hours from Port Blair to Havelock. So you have to get up 4 o'clock in the morning. You have to leave actually at 4 o'clock in the morning because it's a very unique place where there is a convoy system. So the car will cut through the tribal reserve. So what happens is the car will go to Jirkatang, which is around 1.5 hours from Port Blair city. So 5:30 you reach. Then there is a police checkpost. All customers have to fill up a form. Our tour manager driver will help them. After which, what you can see in number 2, all the cars are made to stand in a line. There are around a convoy of 250 to 300 cars. The first car will have a police person. The last car will have a police person. And this will travel through the tribal reserve with no stoppage, no photography allowed. And maybe en route, you may get to see tribals, which you can see in picture number 4. After this, once you reach the end of Baratang, there is a small vehicle ferry. So the car will park on that side. Then the customer has to board this vehicle ferry on number 5 and goes to Baratang. From there, our driver will help him get the speedboat tickets for Limestone Cave. Then again on sharing boats, the customer will go sit and take a beautiful 20-minute boat ride, which will take him through the mangrove forest. And it's really, really exciting. After which, they will get down at the forest jetty, and then they have to walk for 1 kilometer to the Limestone Cave. So en route, there are locals who have set up basic shops like Nibu Pani and cucumber, which the customer can pay directly and have. Then the customer goes to Limestone Cave. Then he walks back 1 kilometer. It is not a steep climb, but if someone is not comfortable walking, it will be a problem. And then they come back, then they have to take the same boat, come back to the jetty, after which they can have their lunch, and then take the same vehicle ferry, come across the creek, sit in their waiting cars, and the convoy will open at 3 o'clock again. So then the customer will reach back at 6:30. So this is end of day 2. Let me tell you, you may find many agents who will also sell to you mud volcano. I believe our role is to bring value to you. That is why you come to us. So mud volcano is okay. It's a very average experience. That is why we don't give it until you ask for it. Now, why don't we give mud volcano? Because basically Andaman gets very hot by 12 o'clock. Now, when you think of mud volcano, you are imagining something really big, right? But you're very disappointed when you have to take a sharing car, then you have to walk up a hill, and then you get to see this very average small thing which people call mud volcano. That is why we do not suggest it. But if the customer wants, we're happy to include the same. Now, another excursion that can be considered, which is the third option on day 2, is visit to MG National Park. Please remember that this is called MG National Park visit. A lot of our partners sell this as Jolly Boy trip. Just like to tell you that Mahatma Gandhi National Park consists of 38 islands. Out of them, 2 islands are Jolly Boy and Red Skill, which the forest department has opened for tourism. So 6 months, one island is open, another 6 months, the other island is open. So at the time of booking, we do not know what island will be open. That is why please do not sell this as a Jolly Boy trip. Sell this as a MG National Park trip. It could be Jolly Boy or could be Redskin. You have to get up in the morning after your breakfast. The car will come. It will take you 45 minutes to reach Vandoor. From there, you have to take sharing boats again. Go to Jolly Boy or Redskin. Again, there are no water sports that happen at these places, and you can do snorkeling and you can do glass bottom boat ride. You spend 3 to 4 hours, then you come back together and the car is waiting to drop you back to the hotel. The one reason why we don't sell this aggressively is it's a beautiful trip, but the problem is the permit is issued by the forest department. There are only 150 permits issued. So the problem comes that in case there's a VIP or a parliamentary committee or a high court judge, sometimes tickets are not available, and hence we have to give an alternative. So this is also very important to keep your customer informed. So day 3 is the exciting day, because this is where the customer will be heading to the most beautiful part of Andamans, which is Havelock Island. We generally only work with Macruz because it is 3 ferries. It is very comfortable. It's a very modern vessel, and it takes 1.5 hours between Port Blair and Havelock. There are other private ferries also like Green Ocean, but that takes 2.5 hours. So that is why we only try to put your customer on Macruz. By default, when the quote stage or the booking stage, we book only the base category, which you can see in the picture below. It's very comfortable, very nice. There is one more category above this called the deluxe category, which the seats are little more comfortable. And then you have the royal seats. So by default, we book you with the premium. If your customer would like to upgrade, please do let your operator know at the booking stage itself. The government ferry again is a big no. Reason being, as you can see the condition, it is a 100-seater boat. It's in a very bad condition, and the ticket counter only opens 4 days before, and it is mainly for locals. So in the last couple of years, I don't think out of all the 4,000 plus passengers we have moved, not even one customer we have sent in the government ferry. So the customer on day 3 reaches Havelock either by the morning ferry or the afternoon ferry. The timings are 6:30, 8 o'clock, and 2 o'clock. Day 1 of Havelock, we take them to Radhanagar beach at 3 o'clock. Now, Radhanagar beach has been ranked as the best beach in Asia. It is a 2-kilometer white sand beach. The sand is so pure that if you hold it in your hand, the sand will come out of your hand. And as you can see in picture number 2, what is beautiful is not just the sand and the water. It is these beautiful 500-year-old Maua forest that you can see on the backdrop, which you can see in picture number 2. It also has some of the most breathtaking sunsets that happen in Andaman. So customers are picked up at 3 o'clock. It takes 15-20 minutes from the hotel to reach Radhanagar beach. Once they're there, they can swim in the water. There is a wash and change facility, which is chargeable at 10 rupees. After which there are local shops. Guests can have jal muri, fruit salad. He can have tea, coffee. He can have some samosa. And then 5:30 to 6 o'clock, he starts heading back to the hotel. It's important to remember that sun sets in Andaman by 5:36. So it gets dark in Andaman by 5:30 and the sun rises by 4:35. So that is why everyone has to leave Radhanagar beach by 5:36. Day 4 is the most exciting trip for the people who are interested in water sports. So again, the car will come at 8 o'clock after breakfast. It takes the customer to the jetty. From the jetty, the customer has to proceed to the beach, from where they board the sharing boats. This is run by an association, so customer may have to wait for 30 to 45 minutes before the boat is allotted. It's a 45-minute boat ride, which you can see in picture number 2. It's a fun ride. People really love this trip. Then they reach Elephant Beach. At Elephant Beach, you can do water sports like sea walk, banana boat ride, sofa boat ride. You can do parasailing. You can do snorkeling. All these activities can be done at Elephant Beach. Then the customer has to take the same boat and come back to the jetty, where our tour manager will be waiting, who will put the customer in the car and drop him back to the hotel. Sometimes, because of sea conditions, if Elephant Beach is closed, then the customer may be taken to Lighthouse. Okay. So let me just quickly also tell you, as I mentioned at the start, that we also run a restaurant in Havelock. It's called Something Different. It's the #1 restaurant in Havelock. It's not because I'm saying. We are #1 on TripAdvisor with more than 1,000 plus reviews. So what we generally do after Elephant Beach, We take the customer if he wants for lunch. It's a multi-cuisine restaurant serving pizza, pasta, Indian, Chinese. And the best thing is we are by the beach. So the customer can enjoy a relaxing lunch by the sea, have a chill beer, and then we drop him back to the hotel. This is optional if the customer wants. These are just some of the reviews that you can see online about a restaurant. Now, day 5, what happens is the customer then proceeds from Havelock to Neil Island. So the customer leaves. Again, there are 2 ferries, Macruz. There is a ferry at 10 o'clock. There's a ferry at 2 o'clock. We generally prefer the morning ferry subject to availability. Same Macruz interiors, after which it takes 1 hour to reach Neil Island. Once the customer reaches Neil Island, our tour manager will meet and greet the guest and drop him off to the hotel. So that day we keep at leisure. Please remember, all hotels in Havelock and Neil have a beach 500 meters away. So the guest just has to walk a few minutes and he'll be in front of a beach. Day 6 is when we take him to the 3 beach visit. So the 3 main popular beaches are Lakshmanpur, Bharatpur and Natural Bridge. Now Lakshmanpur is on a beautiful cove. One side you can see Port Blair, one side you can see Havelock, and it is not a swimming beach, but it's a very picturesque beach. So a lot of people go there for photography. After which Bharatpur they can visit. Bharatpur is known for its water sports. He can do glass bottom boat ride, he can do diving, he can do some jet ski, and then they visit Natural Bridge. Now Natural Bridge is dependent on the tide. So our tour manager will inform based on high tide, low tide, when the customer should go. And we don't recommend this for senior citizens because there's a lot of walking on slippery rocks that needs to be done. Natural Bridge can only be visited when it's low tide. As you can see, there is a beach with rocks, so you have to walk when it is low tide only. Then we drop the guest back to the ferry point, and he takes the 4 o'clock ferry and comes back to Port Blair. Our person is waiting at the exit of the Port Blair jetty and picks them up and drops them to the hotel. And every evening our tour manager meets the guest. Now, many of you may ask, is day trip to Neil possible? Yes, day trip to Neil is possible. What happens is the customer takes the morning ferry, 10 o'clock, he travels with his luggage, he gets down from our cruise, he takes his luggage, he puts it in the waiting car, then he does the 3 beach visit, he has his lunch, and then takes the 4 o'clock ferry back to Port Blair. This is especially very good for someone who doesn't have time, or someone who says, I don't want to spend one night, but I don't mind doing a day trip. So this is a very practical option for them to consider. So what do we do? You know, every customer, we take a photo on arrival, and at the time of departure, one day before, our tour manager will go with the feedback form, with the photo, and hands over to the customer with suite, so that the customer has a good experience. And we ensure that at the time of checkout, you get actual feedback from the customer without any delay. On day 7, we depart them off to the airport with sweet memories of these amazing islands. Now, quickly, I'll just tell you a bit about the water sports, because a lot of customers will ask you, what are the water sports that can be done? So we've broken this into Port Blair, Havelock, Neil. At Port Blair, water sports can be done at North Bay, which is basically dolphin boat ride, semi-submarine, snorkeling, scuba diving, glass bottom boat ride, parasailing. At Carbon's Cove Beach, you can do it at jets, you can do speedboat ride, you can do jet ski, you can do sea cart. Jolly Boy, as I mentioned, doesn't have water sports, mechanized water sports. You can only do glass bottom boat ride and snorkeling. Havelock is the main place for water sports. So at Elephant Beach, as I mentioned, you can do glass bottom, banana boat ride, sofa boat ride, sea walk, jet ski, parasailing and snorkeling. Please remember, diving does not happen at Elephant Beach. Diving happens at beach number 2 at a reef called Nemo Reef, which is a very, very beautiful site to do diving at. And at Neil Island, you have basically only Bharatpur Beach where water sports can be done. So this is just to give you an idea of where all can people do what activities. Now, you know, and many people will ask you, what is the difference between scuba diving and sea walk? So scuba diving is something, in my opinion, if I have to give you a simple explanation, scuba diving is like driving a Harley Davidson, and sea walk is like driving a Activa. Both of them take you from point A to point B, but the fun of driving a Harley Davidson compared to a Activa is very different. So in sea walk, what happens? You go down in a particular area and you just stand and you look at the fish. Whereas in diving, you actually swim with the fish, starting from the beach over the reef, swimming like a fish. So it's a much, much more exciting experience. The price for the both is 3,500 and it's the same. But I would recommend scuba diving for the more adventurous, and someone who's scared of water can look at sea walk. And this can be done by people from the age group of 8 to 70 years. So let me begin on the more tricky part of selling Andamans, which is the hotel categories. I know you all are used to selling international destinations and other destinations in India. In Andaman, the problem are the hotel categories. This is where the biggest challenge lies, because to be honest, there are no star categories in Andaman. This is very, very important to realize. So do not sell to your customer saying 3-star, 4-star, 5-star, because he is not going to be able to find any comparison to actual star category. So what we have done is we have broken this down on pricing and the product into 5 categories for you, which is standard, which is the entry level in Andaman. Again, do not go anything lower than this because you will get a customer complaint. So you have the standard category. The price point at Port Blair is basically 2,000 to 3,000 plus taxes on CP plan. At Havelock, the same price band is 3 to 4,000 plus taxes. And at Neil, it's the same 3,000 to 4,000. So in this price, you will get a standard hotel in Andaman. Then you have the deluxe value pack. Now, these are similar to a basic 3-star, and the price range at Port Blair is from 3 to 4,000 plus taxes. At Havelock and Neil is 4,000 to 5,500 plus taxes. In the deluxe category, you can say these are similar to a 3-star hotel. At Port Blair, the price range is 4,200 to 6,000 plus taxes. And at Havelock and Neil, it's 5,500 to 8,000. Now, why is this important to know for you? Because at 8,000, a customer could get a 4-star or maybe a 4-star premium in any other destination. But in Andaman, because of demand supply, this is not always true. So please do not sell the destination based on star hotels. Then you have luxury one. We call this equal to an entry level 4-star. At Port Blair, the price is 6,500 to 8,500 plus taxes. At Havelock and Neil, this is 8,000 to 10,000 plus taxes. Then the most premium category, we call it luxury 2, equal to a 4-star deluxe category. At Port Blair, it's 10,000 to 12,000 plus taxes. And at Havelock, it is 10 to 15,000. There is only one 5-star hotel in Havelock, which is Taj Exotica, which is 30,000 plus taxes. So please, please do not sell Andaman based on star category so that there is no confusion in managing your customers' expectation. Now, meal plan is, I know it may be very simple for some, but it's very important to understand the meal plan when you come to Andaman. The reason being, we have understood that up to 8 people, we generally suggest CP plan. Now, why do we suggest CP plan? We believe we are here to create value for you and you are here to create value for your customer. So in Andaman, nothing grows. Everything comes from outside. So even your potato, tomato, onion, everything comes from Chennai, Calcutta. So in your buffet, if it's a meal plan for dinner or lunch, you will be given 1 dal, 2 vegetable, one of them will be paneer. There'll be chicken or fish, mainly chicken, right, roti, papad. And the price is between 500 to 1,000 plus taxes per person. If it's up to 8 people, if they order a la carte, it will actually be cheaper and the customer can order what he wants. Because when a customer is for 6 nights and every day he's getting the same type of food, same dal, 2 vegetables, chicken, roti, no one dessert they give. So that is why up to 8 people we recommend CP plan. If it's more than 8 people, then of course you can always opt for MAP. If the customer is veg or Jain, please sell him only CP plan because it is much more economical and the customer will also get to order what he wants. Now, when you're selling Andaman, look, again, it's important, but I really believe our job is to sell Andaman in terms of giving value, not just sell it for the sake of it. So, I can also fill up a 5-night Port Blair, and people actually sell that 5 nights Port Blair with 1 night Havelock, but it's a waste of time. So, in Port Blair, some other sites that you may hear, but in our opinion, don't offer much value is Mount Harriet, Chirya Tapu, which is also called the Sunset Point, but you get far better sunset at Radhanagar Beach. So why do you want to travel 30 kilometers from Port Blair to visit a sunset point where there's an island in front and it's not very clear? Vandoor Beach is another beach, but there are a lot of crocodiles, so the customer can't swim. Then Carbon Score Beach, you will get a lot of itineraries from other operators, which will tell you day one, Carbon Score Beach, Cellular Jail, that's it. Now, tell me one thing, when you're coming to Andaman, and day one, you have this expectation of Andaman. Oh, it's going to be beautiful, and there'll be blue waters and white sand. And you go to Caribbean Beach, which has brown water, brown sand, and Chowpatty in Bombay is better than Carbinsco Beach. So that's why we do not recommend. Again, if you want, we are happy to give it to you, but we do not recommend it. Then all the museums in Port Blair, Anthropological, Chatham Sawmill, Forest Museum, Kalapani Museum, all of these are walk-in, walk-out. So that means आप जाओगे अंदर 10 minutes, there's no guide system. You go in and you walk out. So many people give city tour on a particular day. The city tour is from 9 to 12. After that, we drop him off to the hotel, the customer, and the customer will call you and say, "Arey, मैं तो full day waste हो गया." So that is why we do not recommend things just for filling up, because Andaman is a beautiful destination. Let's show the more beautiful parts of Andaman. Then you have Kalapathar Beach in Havelock. Now, Radhanagar and Elephant Beach are the main beaches and the most beautiful beaches. So, Kalapathar Beach is a rocky beach. It's a good fill-up beach. But what happens in Havelock, a lot of people take two-wheelers. So, they on their own go to Kalapathar, because if you take a car, it becomes more expensive. And it is also a lovely road by the sea. So, Kalapathar Beach is maximum a 1 hour visit. So, that is why we do not include it in our itineraries. Sitapur Beach at Neil Island is a sunrise beach. The problem is, if you go there, you have to go there at 4:30 in the morning, which most of the customers don't do, and hence we don't include Sitapur Beach. Ross and Smith up north, what I told you, is beautiful, but the problem is customer needs minimum 8 nights if he wants to add Diglipur in the itinerary, and minimum 2 nights in Diglipur. Please remember, Diglipur is not a 1 night destination. It is a crime to send the customer all the way to Diglipur for 1 night. So minimum 2 night destination is Diglipur, and you need minimum 8 nights if you want to sell Diglipur to your customers. But it is a beautiful, beautiful destination if the customer has time. Now, another lot of questions that you will get is, today a customer goes on Google, he will send you a mail. I want Barren Island, I want Sink Island, Little Andaman, Long Island, Nicobar, Narcondam. None of these islands can be visited. Some of them cannot be visited because they are not allowed. But islands like Barren Island, Sink Island, Long Island, the problem is you have to take a charter boat. And the price of that boat is around 1 lakh for up to 8 people. So most of the people don't have this budget. So that is why, in case you ever hear these names, you can directly tell the customer that these places cannot be included in your itinerary. So quickly, let's just run through some commonly asked questions. How should I decide how many nights? So there are 2 types of situations in this. Please understand type of customer that your guest is. So our experience is that 2 type of customers. One is your well-traveled customer who knows what he wants in Andaman. He has a clear image of beaches and forest. Please keep him more at Havelock and less at Port Blair. And then you have the other type of customer who's traveling with his family or doesn't enjoy beaches too much. For them, you can give them a 3-2-1, what we've discussed. You can give them a 2-2-1, give them a mix of Port Blair and Havelock, because if you give them too much of Havelock, they will find it boring. Is Andaman a luxury destination? Andaman is a luxury destination, but it does not have luxury hotels. So to share with you, we have handled Imtiaz Ali, we have handled Ratan Tata, we have handled Hollywood stars, but They come there for the destination. They don't come there for the hotels. So Andaman is a luxury destination, but does not have luxury hotels except Taj, which is now opened in Andamans. Important sites to visit, we've already touched upon. What all islands I can visit in terms of tourism? There's Port Blair, Havelock, Neil, Diglipur, and Baratang. Uh, I've already discussed about Baratang and Diglipur. Can I dive? Yes, everyone can dive from the age group of 8 to 80. Are there any star categories of hotels in Andaman? No. Please do not sell based on star category. Suggested meal plan, if it's less than 8 people, please suggest on CP plan. If it's more than 8 people, you can always give them optional MAP. If they're veg or Jain, do not sell them meal plan at all. Can I land and go same day to Havelock? If yes, how? If not, why? So yes, you can land because the flights are landing before 12, and the last ferry from Port Blair to Havelock is 2 o'clock. You can do that. I don't recommend that because in case the flight gets delayed, then there may be some logistical problems. But otherwise, for a well-traveled customer, you can send him straight on arrival to Havelock. Cuisines available in Andaman. So the main cuisine is Indian. You get Chinese, and you don't have much other variety except in some standalone restaurants like Something Different, which is run by us only. Budget. There is no budget for a package. It depends on number of nights, category of hotel. So we can't give you a price randomly. Once you have these details, please feel free to get in touch with us, and we'll immediately in half an hour give you a package for that requirement. Can I stay all nights at Havelock and avoid Port Blair stay? No, you cannot stay as per the current schedule all nights in Havelock because you can go straight, but the last night you will have to spend in Port Blair because the ferry from Havelock to Port Blair is by 12:30, reaches by 12:30, and the flights have taken off by 12 o'clock. So that is why the last night you will have to keep in Port Blair. What does the honeymoon recommend? So Andaman is little expensive when it comes to honeymoon special, flower bed decoration, cake and all. Unless the customer really insists, we recommend do not include the same. Is Andaman a MICE destination? Absolutely. It's a great MICE destination. But again, you will have to educate your corporate well in detail before suggesting Andaman. What all things should I carry? Carry shorts, t-shirts, comfort clothing, and a cap. Be comfortable basically. Don't wear full sleeve shirt, pant, closed shoes. It's a beach destination, so wear clothing accordingly. What if a cyclone comes? Well, in Andaman, please remember, my friends, there is no plan B. So what if a cyclone comes? Well, we deal with it. So we will make sure your customer is put in another hotel. We will make sure we find some alternative itinerary. But there is no plan B if a cyclone comes. But be rest assured, we ensure your customer is well taken care of.